Hello, y'all. I'm Jen, and this is
Jay.
And together, we push play. Today, we've got another MrBallen video for you, but this one is on his Shorts channel, so be sure to check that out. The title of this video is called, This Woman Had an Evil Secret. I'm curious. I want to know what it is. She was also holding a baby in the pictures in the thumbnail. And being a mother myself, I'm kind of curious what her evil secret is. Or was.
Is.
Was? Is.
Has an evil.
Oh well. I'm country. It don't. Is, was, were, how, there, that, whatever. Let's go.
Spears was born on December 3rd, 2008. He was a sick child. At just 2 months old, he stopped being able to keep food down and he began losing weight. His mother, Lacey, switched him from breast milk to formula, thinking that might help, but it didn't. So she switched to a combination between breast milk and formula. That didn't work, so she brought him to the doctor. After running a blood test, it was determined Garnett's sodium levels were too high, which was most likely the cause for his upset stomach. And so the doctor gave Garnett an IV, which flushed the sodium out of his system, and immediately Garnett seemed better off. And then afterwards, when Lacey asked the doctor why could this be happening, he said he didn't know, that perhaps it was something in his formula, or maybe even something in her breast milk. He gave her some advice on what she should be eating, and then gave her the obligatory reminder to, don't give him anything besides breast milk or formula. He gave her special formula to use, and then he sent her on her way. Despite following doctor's orders, over the next several months, Garnett continued to get sick, be brought into the doctor's office, only to discover his sodium levels were elevated again. Finally, after 9 months of this still going on and Lacey not getting any answers about what was going on with her son, she brought him to a specialist who suggested, as a short-term solution, why don't we just put a feeding tube directly into Garnett's abdomen? That way we can guarantee he's getting the exact right mix of nutrients, and if he's still having elevated sodium levels after that, then we'll look at other reasons this could be happening.
That's scary. I'm a huge advocate. I breastfed all my babies for at least a year, and I'm like, that's scary, after 2 months your baby's still losing weight. It's normal for your baby to lose a lot of weight if you're breastfeeding in the beginning, but I couldn't imagine, that's scary that my child kept having really high sodium levels. But then keep in mind, this woman has an evil secret. So
after it was inserted, Garnett's condition seemed to dramatically improve, leading doctors to believe it had to have been some strange ingredient inside the formula or something inside of Lacey's breast milk. But despite his improved condition, Garnett was not 100% healthy. Over the next few years, periodically, his sodium levels would spike, which no doctor could explain, and it would cause stomach pains and headaches, and in some instances, it would cause seizures. And Lacey, who diligently documented every single food, fluid, anything that went inside of her son, at the first sign of trouble, she would rush him to the hospital. But all doctors could ever do was administer an IV to flush the sodium out, and then give her the obligatory reminder to only feed him certain foods that were low in sodium. And so for the next few years, life went on like that. In 2012, when Garnett was 4, they moved out of Lacey's hometown in Alabama to New York. They moved into a retirement community called the Fellowship, which is a place where younger people can go and live for free in exchange for caring for the elderly. And Garnett loved it there. He would run around the halls and poke his head in the older folks' room, and they all loved Garnett. It was really just a happy place for both Lacey and for Garnett. During that time, Lacey started a blog called Garnett the Great, which documented Garnett's life and their kind of collective struggles to figure out what was going on with Garnett with these weird sodium level spikes. The blog gained a lot of support, not only because of Garnett's condition, but because this was not the first hardship the mother and son had had to face. When Lacey was pregnant with Garnett's father, who was a police officer, was killed in a car accident. And so the supporters of this blog were really eager to find ways to give back and support this mother and son. But no amount of love and support could have prevented what happened in January of 2014. On the 17th of that month, Garnett woke up with a high fever and stomach pains, and on the drive into the hospital, he had a seizure. When they arrived arrived, doctors tested Garnett's blood, and like usual, his sodium levels were through the roof. And so they administered an IV, which reduced his symptoms. And after he was back to normal, they said they wanted to keep him at the hospital for a couple of days to observe him because of that seizure he had. They wanted to make sure that, one, it didn't happen again, and two, there wasn't something else going on. For the first 2 days of Garnett's observation at the hospital, he was asymptomatic. They tested his blood, his sodium levels were normal, and everything seemed to be going fine. And in fact, they were getting ready to discharge him when all of a sudden, on January 19th, so 2 days after arriving, he suddenly seemed to be in much worse shape. When they tested his blood, sure enough, his sodium levels were at an all-time high. And so after giving him an IV and attempting to lower his sodium levels, it just wasn't happening quickly enough. And so they transferred him to a specialized children's hospital that could handle this situation better, and they were able to bring his levels back down to normal. However, the damage had been done. This final enormous sodium spike had led to massive brain swelling that ultimately killed him a couple of days later. After his death, doctors were baffled at how his sodium could have spiked on January 19th because they were closely monitoring what was going into his body. And sodium does not just suddenly appear in your body, it needs to be inserted into your body. And so they reviewed all of his medical files.
Don't tell me this mama was hurting her baby.
I don't know.
And that included looking at the footage of the camera that had been set up at the foot of the bed facing Garnett to monitor him for seizures. And on that camera, they saw his own mother, Lacey, take him out of bed on the 19th, carrying a white cup and an attachment to Garnett's feeder tube. She takes Garnett out of bed. She walks him into the bathroom. A couple minutes later, she brings him back, puts him back in bed. And seconds later, he's violently ill. They come in, they test his blood, and what do you know? The sodium is at that critical high point that ultimately killed him. Doctors were obviously very suspicious of Lacey and what she was doing with her son in the bathroom, and so they showed it to police. Police launch an investigation. They go to Lacey's house, and as soon as they walk inside, there is table salt all over the house. There's salt on every table, and inside of the boy's room was an IV stand with this brackish-looking liquid inside of an IV bag that they tested, and it was salt water that contained the equivalent of 70 salt packets. Lacey had been intentionally poisoning her son with too much salt since he was born because she liked the attention she received. Lacey had a history of lying to get attention. She used to lie as a kid and even as an adult about different illnesses that she said she had, and she also lied about Garnett's father. He was not a police officer. He had not been killed in an accident. He was just a former friend that she refused to let see Garnett. During Garnett's final hospital stay, after doctors informed Lacey that her son's...
What a piece of shit mother. Oh my God. Some people shouldn't be able to have kids. Like, this makes me ill and angry and all kinds of things I can't even say on YouTube. Like, shame on her. And bless that poor kid. Like, but thank God he's with God now and he's not having to suffer. Poor baby. What a evil secret, Mom. Okay, I'm gonna finish the story out.
His brain had swollen so much it was unlikely he would survive, all caused by Lacey. She posted this picture to Facebook. Shortly after, Garnett slipped into a coma and never regained consciousness. He was 6 years old. Lacey was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it.
That's the way it's at.
There's a million other ways to get attention if you need it that bad. Harming your kid, that's sick. Yeah. That is absolutely disgusting. Like, why wasn't no lady harming her damn self if she was that up in the head? Like, I was thinking it was going to be something like she collected hair from strangers and she had a room full of hair or something so bizarre and crazy. Not that she killed her own son. Like, I mean, I don't, from MrBallen, you never know what to expect. But this just, like, stories like this just, that's ridiculous. If she loved so much attention, she could have got it so many other ways. Poor kid. Like,
Yeah.
I swear. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear the rest of this here.
So give us the timestamp, and if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please provide the piñata for the like button's birthday party, but ensure it's exclusively filled with old cigarette butts. Also, please subscribe.
MrBallen, how can you mention a piñata and a birthday party when you just talked about a kid dying? Like, I know you're trying... Next time, could you please pick something different to joke about the like button? Okay. I'm okay, you guys. Please go check MrBallen's channel out. I'm sure you guys are going to love what he's got. If you're into the creepy, horrible, crazy, paranormal things, go subscribe to his channel, his main one, MrBallen, and then his MrBallen Shorts, where we got this content from. I don't know if we should watch this one.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
Crazy story, you guys. Like, actually, that's a horrible story.
That was horrible.
That was a horrible story. Like, and I'm the type of person, I don't like really listening to stories like that, especially when it has to do with children and children being harmed. Because I was on the volunteer fire department, and I got to take a class with Mr. Bill Bass, who deals with the body farm and all that. And it was about all kinds of things, but it was mostly to be a child advocate for the fire department. The horrible things, all the guys were joking about how they had to take all this equipment for the classes they were taking and stuff. And the only equipment I needed for my class that entire weekend was a box of tissues. Because it was just one horrible story after another, all happening locally, like within our area and surrounding counties and stuff. And it was super heartbreaking. And so I prefer not to really watch stuff like this, because I'm an empath at heart, and it really does get under my skin. So, I mean, that's really sad. But say hi, everybody. You gotta look right here. Say hi.
Hi.
This is Adelaide, y'all. And after that video, I needed to calm down and get my thoughts together for my final thoughts. That mother deserved more than 20 years to life. And bless her son's heart, that lady had quite an evil smile in that last picture. It's like she was comfortable with what she was doing. But as a final thought for this video, y'all, if you're a mother out there and you're wanting attention, or you have the desire to hurt your child or do evil things like that, get help. There's help out there. Ask somebody. Talk to somebody. Call 911. There's services out there to help you. And I did not want to end this video with those evil thoughts in my mind. So I'm showing y'all a little special here and letting you meet my youngest. We call her Addie. She's usually the 4-year-old you guys hear in the back of the videos. If you ever hear any little noises, it's usually because she comes in while we're recording.
Yes. Like that. Yeah.
Who do you guys think she looks more like? Me or Jay?
That like.
You want to tell everybody bye? Say bye.
Bye.
Until next time.
Till the next time.
If you enjoy our commentary and you really want to see more like this and our reactions to videos like this, please give us a thumbs up down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified when we put out something new. Until next time, y'all. Bye.